Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Impressive Progressive Home Tour. My name is Hannah Huseman. I'm the marketing manager here at Castle, and I'm so excited to be on this tour with you. Today in our panel, we have our owner, Loren Schirber, and we'll have designers Tracy O'Donnell and Ashley Hansen presenting today. So I'm super excited. A few housekeeping items, if you will. This event is being recorded and will be available on both our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss this event and future events. We will also be taking live questions from the audience. So whether you're watching from YouTube or Facebook, all you have to do is put your question in the comment section and I'll be sure to get it to the right person during the event. All right, Loren, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's get it started.
Let's do this.
Well, I'm Loren Schirber. I'm the owner here at Castle. And, my dad started the company in 1977, and I purchased the business from him. And I've been running things about the past 17 years or so. And so I'm excited to share this event with you. I dreamed up the Impressive Progressive event for a non-COVID world where we could visit a couple of projects in the showroom and meet some of our team and get inspired and eat some good food and move from the city. But we moved it to virtual. It's worked really well to show off projects, and we hope you enjoy this experience today. Logos in first person. These are two of our best projects we did in the last year, and two of our most talented designers. I do apologize about the noise. I'm coming to you live over the sound. A little fucking coming from my in-laws' house in Arizona, and the internet's a little bit slow, so apologize about that. But I hope that these two projects are very impressive to you and get you inspired to make your home your castle.
Yes, and not a problem, Loren. We'll make sure we head over to Tracy so that you can take a break from that. So before we bring Tracy on screen, I wanted to share a quick preview of the project. It is a beautiful kitchen remodel out in Richfield. Gorgeous warm tones. You can see the before pictures here on our screen now. The plans being drawn up and the existing demo plan and the after. Such a huge transformation. I just love all the details, and I can't wait for Tracy to talk us through some of these unique things that are inside this kitchen. Awesome. Well, Loren, we're going to bring Tracy on screen with us. Tracy, how are you doing today? Oh, Tracy, I think you're muted. Let's see what we can do about that.
I got it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tracy O'Donnell. I'm here in Richfield at the kitchen remodel. I've been at Castle for about 2 years now, and this was one of my first projects with Castle. And one of my favorite projects because it had a really great transformation from the original space to now. I'll just kind of give you a tour. There was originally cabinets here where these pendant lights are, so we took those down and we just replaced them with these beautiful pendant lights that we got from Shades of Light. One of my favorite details, which you could see in the photo, is the huge countertop here. That's a silestone countertop. And then also too, the mosaic marble tile inset here that's over the sink with the light to add extra cast lighting. We also did under cabinet lighting here in the kitchen, and then a nice clean subway tile backsplash with white grout. And the countertops are silestone. Here in the kitchen also, and the cabinets are actually made of a red oak to match the existing cabinets, or sorry, not existing cabinets, the existing millwork that was throughout the home. I'll kind of give you a quick tour, a little bit of more of a close-up here of the backdrop behind the sink. And then we have this beautiful Kohler Whitehaven farm sink. That was probably one of the client's favorite options, along with these huge drawers that you can see there that we added into the space. And those were all completed and asked for by the client to have a lot more storage in this kitchen. Let's see. I asked the homeowner what some of their favorite things about the kitchen were, and they said the storage and the lighting. They love the lighting and the additional can lighting that we did here in the kitchen also. And they love the experience, and we were able to finish their project on time. And let's see what else. And then some of the other things that we did is the polished nickel hardware, and then we made sure all of that matched with the plumbing fixtures and the light fixtures. Hannah, do you have any other questions?
How long did the project take, Tracy?
This project took 9 weeks to complete for construction.
Okay, and how long were they in design and planning for?
The design and planning was about 2.5 months.
2.5 months, okay. So all in all, roughly 4 to 5 months from start to finish?
Correct.
Wonderful. So that's something really good to think about as you're coming in with your own questions for our audience that are watching. Another question is black common for the appliances?
Black is a very common appliance color. In this home, we were keeping the original fridge, which was black. And so what we did is we incorporated the range, which has black details to kind of tie everything together.
Wonderful. And do you find that black appliances are more or maybe equal in popularity with stainless steel?
Colored appliances are coming back into trend, like the white and some black, or the darker colored stainless are definitely coming into trend. I think it would just kind of depend on budget and price point, because the black appliances tend to be a little bit less expensive than a stainless appliance.
Okay, that's good to know. We have some comments over on our Facebook page. Jan would like to know if you redid the floor in the kitchen, and if so, what are the details behind it?
Yeah, here, let me show you what the flooring is in the kitchen. So the flooring that we did here is this LVT tile floor. And this is a floating floor that we did in the kitchen, and we took up all the original vinyl that was in here in this kitchen, and we put that down, and then we butted it up next to the existing oak floor.
Oh, wonderful. And what type of flooring is it?
Luxury vinyl tile, and it's an Dura product. The Dura is the manufacturer name.
Wonderful. Thank you. Jan, great question. A question over on our YouTube page. Sonia would like to know, if she were to go for a project similar to this, what is the project cost range she might anticipate?
Sure. So a project cost range for this type of kitchen remodel, where we're keeping within the same footprint, but we are kind of updating all of the finishes, and we're keeping a lot of the appliances in the same location, we're probably going to be in a range of $35,000 to $45,000.
Okay. And if you want to see other potential project costs, you can always head to our website. We have tons of, example estimates, right, up there to kind of get an idea. So Sonia, if that doesn't answer your question, go ahead and head to our website. Another question that just popped in, what exactly is LVT, and is it expensive?
Luxury vinyl tile is the official name to describe the product. Is it expensive? No, it's actually probably one of the more affordable products that we put into homes, in kitchens and bathrooms, and or lower levels, depending on what you're looking for. It comes in a variety of installation methods. So you can either have it so that you can lock it together, or a glue down product. And it's very versatile for different types of applications.
Wonderful. I'm not seeing any other comments popping up right now, but guys, if you have more questions, keep them coming. I am going to bring Ashley on screen, and we're going to talk for maybe 5 minutes before her presentation about current kitchen trends, remodeling 101, and anything else you guys might have to advise our audience today. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
so to
Go
get
ahead.
to the remodeling trends, I'd say a few things that stand out to me specifically this year is finish for fixtures. So a lot more brass and gold finishes for fixtures is really big, and then also black. And so that has been a very big thing that I would say more than 50% of projects have been going to those finishes as far as the ones I've worked on. And so a lot of the manufacturers have been bringing in new fixture model options to accommodate that.
Tracy, have you seen those same trends as well?
I have. And I think that's a great thing to point out. And along with the color trend of the black, one thing that's been really popular that I've been doing a lot is black hexagon tile. Those have been very, very popular kind of throughout kitchens and bathrooms, and incorporating that hexagon shape, and then along with just the black color in general.
Wow. How about you, Ashley? Do you have some interesting shaped tiles happening in your projects?
You know, most of my projects actually have been for homeowners who have older homes in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and still for those, most of my projects, they've been wanting to just stay true to the original design. And so I haven't been bringing in a lot of modern shapes into projects, but a standard hexagon, smaller 2-inch, definitely just kind of gives that classic look for some floors. But I know from seeing coworkers like Tracy and other interior designers from Castle, seeing more modern shapes being brought into the design has been a fun thing to see. And then with that, I would say another trend is just colors too. And so in kitchens, you don't see this, what I'm about to say, in Tracy or my project here, but is just pops of color. So people mixing in dark green cabinetry and blue cabinetry, and two, I would say this year specifically, having a mix. So having some, if it is that green, having it mixed with white cabinets, and then also a wood tone. So having a variety in there. And I would say 2-3 years ago, some kitchens would be all blue with a white marbly tile. So just having more variety, more textures, more colors, and that sort of thing.
Interesting. So thinking of the homes that you're working in and, maintaining the character, one follower on Facebook, Sunshine, she wants to know, do you ever do projects using the salvaged or reused cabinetry?
Yes, I can answer first. So there are some projects where if we're staying within the existing footprint of a kitchen or a bathroom, and the cabinetry functions well for a person, we can try to reuse it. I've had projects where we're gonna open a wall, open it up to the dining room or the living room, so we have to modify a wall of cabinets, and then we'll try to maintain the rest of the cabinetry. Most projects though that I do, we are replacing all the cabinets. Just cabinetry has come so far over the last 10, 20 years that if the cabinetry is original to the home, then you don't have the slow close function, the nice glides on the drawers, and that can make a huge difference as far as how accessible things are when they're stored in your cabinetry. And then to get to the salvage part of it, I haven't had many projects get materials from salvage yards and then have us reinstall it in their homes. There's been a few over the years working at Castle, but not too many. Sometimes that can be just as costly, getting things from salvage yards and revamping them to get to work in a home, than it is to buy new.
Interesting. Do you find you or Tracy, if you're just doing a kitchen makeover, that they choose to reuse their existing cabinetry versus a full remodel?
Yeah, I can take this one. A lot of people who are doing a kitchen makeover will want to try and maintain their existing cabinets. And sometimes we can mix that in by adding additional cabinets in with the existing. So maybe they have maybe just a small wall of existing cabinets, but then we can add some on another wall, either within the kitchen or within another room to give them more storage. And we can also modify some of the existing cabinets by adding additional rollouts. Those are very easy modifications to do without necessarily having to change the cabinet layout overall.
Do you guys ever just paint them? Are old cabinets easier to paint versus without grain? What is your experience with that?
I'll take this one also. If you are going to paint original cabinets, a lot of the things you have to consider is the existing hinges. The older hinges, the paint does add a slight thickness to everything. So then the door and the door closing more or less than the drawers, so you might have some rubbing there. And also too, a lot of older cabinets are made out of an oak or a wood with a heavy grain. So when you paint over it, some of that grain may transfer through. So those are just some things to keep in mind when you want to paint over an existing cabinet door or cabinet box.
Good to know. Are there any other kitchen trends or remodeling 101 tips that you guys might want to share with the audience before we head over to Ashley's project?
I think that the one thing that I would always want people to keep in mind is that the planning stage is very important to have the best finished product as possible. So even though some planning might take a little bit longer, you do explore all of the options for your kitchen or bathroom or any project. And then I think you do end up with a much better space and layout if you take maybe a couple extra days, a couple extra reviews of a project to get exactly what you want.
Okay. How about you, Ashley?
Yeah, I thought about this question ahead of time a little bit as far as Design 101, thinking what would I want to communicate to people to think about during the design process. And I have a couple things that I'll just mention. So one is storage needs. I love planning for people's cabinetry and thinking, okay, are doors best versus drawers? And in order to plan the best, it's great if someone were to sit down and make just an inventory list of what do you store in your kitchen. And so that you can know, do you need a 21-inch cabinet instead of a 24 for whatever it is for your appliances and things you're going to store. So doing that can be huge. Thinking too, do you have a closet somewhere else in the house? Or oftentimes people will have a shelf, a full-size shelf in their basement full of overflow kitchen things. So how can you get as much as possible into this new kitchen remodel? It would be the worst to remodel your entire kitchen and start moving in and go, man, I didn't think about finding a cabinet to store this item I really use on a daily. So thinking through that is important. And then another thing I want to mention is really trying to, for the homeowners, ahead of time, think about what is your aesthetic preference. Some people can say it with the snap of a finger, and other people it takes longer. And so looking at pictures online, making a Pinterest page or a house page so that we can help bring those things to life. Now, there are some people who just aren't sure, and that's okay. So sometimes in the design process, we are still navigating what is a person's preference. So that just takes putting options in front of them to see, showing them examples, and then if someone is not super in tune with what they're wanting the aesthetic to be, making sure that they plan ahead of time, in the next 2.5 months of the design process, I'm going to make sure that I take time in my evening to look at pictures and keep processing through what do I want. And that just helps us as designers bring it to life and accomplish that. And then the other thing I want to mention is thinking about lighting. And so a remodel time is the time to modify electrical. So a lot of older homes we work in don't have layers of lighting, or even homes built in the 80s, you'll have a living room that has no overhead lights, just floor lamps or table lamps. So really being open to designing in layers of lighting. And then the last thing I want to mention is just for Design 101 is budget. So thinking about how much money do you feel comfortable spending on your remodel, and really communicating that to us so that we can go, okay, so here in your budget, here is what we know we could do for that budget, and figure out, are we a good fit? And if so, what are our action steps to stay within that budget?
Wonderful. Those were amazing tips. I want to touch on one thing you did mention was lighting. Even just seeing these projects beforehand, before sharing them, even the lighting in these two different spaces are very different. Would you guys mind talking a little bit about the lighting that was selected for each of your spaces?
Yeah, I'll go first since we just went over my project.
Yeah.
As you can see, the lighting, I'm not sure if you can see the pendants super well. These are selected, they're a little bit more modern, but then you have the light over the sink, which is a little bit more of a traditional style sconce. And we are going for kind of a mix of traditional with a nod to just updating that look a little bit for the kitchen so that it would blend with the new space that we designed. And then in addition, we did add the 4 can lights in the ceiling here, and then also the under cabinet lighting, which just adds so much to the space and a ton of extra task light.
Yeah, and then I can go ahead and talk about the lighting at this home. So it was actually one of, I'd say, a challenge in this project. And why that is it's a condo. And so the construction of this home has steel studs, and then the floor beneath this wood floor is spanned concrete, and then the ceiling is also spanned concrete. So you can't run wires through stud space as in the floor or the ceiling like you can in a traditional single family wood construction home. So here we couldn't add any ceiling lighting, and what we did to improve the lighting is under cabinet lights. So I'm gonna move the camera around a little bit. All the overhead lighting and the sconces that you're gonna see, those were existing. So the homeowner, he had new fixtures installed before we even did our project. And then we just came in and did that under cabinet lighting. And then I'll move the camera over here, and you'll see this little nook, which I'll talk more about later. We did put some under cabinet lighting over there too to help brighten up the space. So we do have a few layers. We have that overhead lighting, sconces switched separate, and then under cabinet lighting. So we do still have 3 layers, which is great. And that's usually what I try to go for, is 3 layers of lighting that you could have only one of the options on, or 2, or all 3 if you're looking for really bright space.
Wonderful. Thanks for those lighting tours, ladies. Tracy, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to you so we can get Ashley's tour going. Thank you so much for showing us that beautiful kitchen. Guys, if you want to see it, more pictures yourself, you can head to our website, castlebree.com. We have our portfolio, and that project is there with lots of beautiful pictures. If you have more questions for Tracy, drop them in the comments, and we'll see you later, Tracy.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Ashley. So we are now over in Minneapolis with you, and this is actually a 2-room project. We have a bathroom and a kitchen, correct?
Yes, correct. And then there's a little nook in the living room too that I'll show you guys in the tour.
Awesome. I can't wait. So let's go ahead and get that started, and we'll let you go.
Awesome. Okay, and then Hannah, did you want to show the slideshow for this project?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I was so excited to see the space.
Yeah.
So here you can see, again, it's a kitchen and a bath, this is the before photos. Here are the plans that we had drawn up, the original and the proposed, and here are before shots transitioning into the beautiful after. The transformation is just stunning. An office space, the dining room space, and again, the kitchen with tons of storage, which I'm sure Ashley will cover. Wonderful. Okay, Ashley, it's all yours.
Thanks, Hannah. So again, my name's Ashley Hansen, and I have been an interior designer at Castle for 7 years. This project specifically came to me, I believe it was about October of 2020. And to give you a little bit of background of this home and the homeowner too. So he purchased this condo about a year ago. So it was last summer. And before buying this condo, lived in Northeast, a single family home. And what drew him to purchase this home is a couple of things. So one, the amenities of living in a condo. And then two, something you can't see is directly across from me. I can see out these big, beautiful sliding glass doors, and the view is to a nice wooded lot, and then you can also see the city skyline. So that is what brought him to land in purchasing this condo, which is on the 5th floor. Again, that just adds to the views as being up higher. And so if you remember back to those before pictures, it was a little dark in this condo before the remodel, and the homeowner, Jim, wanting to make this his home where he could live the rest of his life, really wanted to put his stamp on it and customize it. And so he had brought to me a few goals of his. And so one of them, a goal for the remodel, was to lighten, brighten the space. And also, as you'll see in the tour, he really has over the years collected beautiful art and has great stories behind it, great relationships between him and the artist. And so wanting to provide a space that just lets that art shine. And so that was a big driving factor behind the light white cabinetry, millwork, and then also the lighter flooring. And then another thing, just wanting to capitalize on that view. So I wrote a few notes that I'll just make sure that I look at throughout this tour and make sure I touch on the different things I think are important that you'd want to know. And let's see here. Oh, another thing that was something that he did have in mind was a waterfall edge for his island. And so that was just something that he's seen and really loved the idea of, and we were able to work in. And then a few challenges that we knew we were going to have in the design was, again, touch on this earlier, but that spancrete construction of the condominium. So the floor and the ceiling. And then also another thing that the condominium requires is soundproofing the floor so that there's less sound transmission between this condo, this home, and the floor below. So just needing to think through that and what products is going to achieve it. And another challenge that we just thought through of is how could we improve the bathroom function. So we didn't change a lot as far as the layout. The main thing was the door. The doors in this home are exceptionally wide. They're 36 inches wide. I believe it's every single door to get into a room here. So imagine a 36-inch wide door opening into a bathroom that is about 5 feet by 7 feet. It really takes up a lot of space. So we were able to address that and just make it a little bit more friendly and just open space. And I'll explain that once we get to the bathroom. So then now what I'll do is focus on what we've done with the remodel now that we've talked a little bit about the history. And so I'm going to do a little bit of walking around. What you see here is the entry door. The layout of the kitchen stayed very similar to what it had been. one change is that the seating at the island has been here facing the fridge. And so getting that waterfall edge to come down on this side, we were able to get a seating spot for one stool on each side. And the thing that we love about this is it allows you to sit there, be conversational with other people in the kitchen, but then be able to see out those big, beautiful windows. And so I think that's a great feature point of this remodel is the island. And then a lot of homes are lacking storage, but this condo was not lacking storage at all. And so, sorry, this camera, it takes a little bit of time to adjust. So hopefully you can see things okay. Over here in the kitchen area, you see one bifold closet door for the entry closet. Well, before the remodel, there was actually a second closet over close to the door where I'm pointing. And so there's two great closets, but for a home that currently is being used as a one bedroom, just didn't need two big entry closets. So we removed one of the bifold doors, and then our crew, they removed the header that had been over this little nook to create the closet, removed that, and then we put built-in cabinets in that little nook just to expand, and it really does help the kitchen feel a little bit bigger. So it's a great spot when you come in, you can drop your keys. If you're having company over and you want to set out food and just snacks or wine, you can put it there and people just feel a little bit more welcome to go and grab those things. And then another area that there had been what I believe was probably another closet. I'm going to just turn the camera over here. So this is the little dining room nook. Where you see those built-ins had been a little, so around the built-ins, there had been another dropped header and then little stub walls on both the left and right. So it definitely seemed as though at one point there's probably bifold doors on there and it was a closet. By the time that Jim moved in, the doors had been removed and it was just a nook, just a wide open nook. And so we thought, what could be done to just use that space a little bit better and then also provide just nice, fun, open storage to display some of that art and accessories, and then also get some closed storage for things to be. So again, our crew removed those little walls, removed the header above, and then installed that cabinetry. So then we kind of go back to here. Some benefits of the crystal cabinetry that is installed is, so compared to what had been before, I think it likely that the previous cabinets right before we did this remodel were probably original to the condo. At the same time, it looked as though someone had painted them. And so they didn't have that slow close feature. They didn't have new modern glides on the drawers. And so these are just much more functional. And they've got a lot more drawers versus doors. So it's just easier to open a drawer, get to the back of it. And then we also brought those upper cabinets all the way up to the ceiling. So before, if you remember seeing it in the before pictures, the cabinets had about a foot and a half gap from the top to the ceiling. So just a dust collector, and so able to capitalize on that. And then let's see here, a few other things I want to point out is, and I'll bring you over actually to the bathroom. So we'll walk through here. You'll see the beautiful new flooring. In here, there had been carpet, and then there also had been tile. And it was just a medium tone taupey color. And so this nice new floating floor, it's an engineered wood floor, 5-inch wide planks, and it's a natural maple color. So just light, beautiful, easy to clean. And then We'll walk over here towards the bathroom. And as we go, you'll see how that art is just allowed to take the focal point. So we're walking over to the bathroom. All right, there's the door into the bathroom. So this is the door walkway that had been a traditional swing door. The hinge was on the left. And so it really, when the door was open, it really did just close off half that bathroom. So now there's a barn door and it slides to the right. The cabinetry was updated and made to be a floating cabinet, which something that does for a home is anytime you can see more flooring, it makes the room look bigger. So it feels more spacious and still get a good amount of storage in here. You'll see this cabinetry goes back over to that wall there. And then the mirror is just acting as the backsplash. So it actually sets on top of that countertop and goes all the way to the ceiling. And we did put in some new sconces before there had been vanity lights that were above the mirror. So we got sconces on either side. And then you'll just see over here, because there's cabinetry directly to the side of the toilet, we couldn't put a door on there because it would have hit the toilet, but we just put an open shelf. And then the big, I would say, focal point of this bathroom is this beautiful walk-in shower. There had been a tub with the shower, tub and shower combination, and it was a fiberglass surround. And Jim he didn't need the bathtub. And anytime you're working in a condo, changing a bathtub to a walk-in shower, it's a little tricky. And again, that's associated with the floor being a spanned concrete. So oftentimes you have to get into the condominium below and do some adjusting to the plumbing. And thankfully, people in this building were just wonderful and very accommodating to us. So that was great. And then we did put in this large format wall tile. They're 24-inch by 24-inch tiles. And so it's nice to have less grout. And then the floor in here in the shower is a pebble tile. So it just kind of has a nice feel on the feet and turned out to be a beautiful space. So then I'm just gonna walk back out here so we can get a little bit more light. And I'll just make sure that I talked about everything that I wanted to point out. So let's see here. Okay. I would say I'll just quick touch base on a few of the fixtures and finishes and where we got those. And so the sink faucet in the kitchen that we got, that is a Kohler. And some other things that our Kohler manufacturer is the toilet in the bathroom. And then for the other plumbing fixtures, went with the Delta. So in the bathroom, the shower fixture, those are by Delta. And a thing that I like about that is, if I was back in there, I'd show you. The controller for that Delta shower head has one knob that is for the pressure and then another knob for the temperature. So it's just nice to be able to always leave, if you want, you can always leave it set at whatever temperature you prefer and just leave it there. And then as you turn it on and off, it stays on that. And then just brought things up to match his new appliances, which he had purchased before the remodel. So a lot of stainless steel finishes, and it's okay to mix stainless steel with satin nickel or brushed nickel too. So that's what we have for the hardware instead of that trendy black or another finish that's darker is oil or bronze. We just went with something that's light and bright and keeping that feel for the space. So those are the things that I can think of to point out during this, but is there any questions that I can try to answer? Oh, Hannah, I can't hear you. There we go.
There we go. Technology. So we do have one question over on our YouTube. Michael wanted to know that his undercab lighting in their house is actually very temperature hot. Are there bulbs that run naturally cooler?
Yeah, that is a tricky thing, most definitely. I can't speak to, I'd have to do a little looking to answer fully, but what I'll say now is the one that has been my go-to is an LED strip light for underneath the cabinet. And that I have found that people I have helped have been really happy with, as far as it doesn't give off a lot of heat, which whether or not it is, that can feel concerning. If something is a little bit hotter and it goes, ooh, do I need to only leave this on for 15 minutes type of thing. But with this under cabinet LED lighting, it is just gives off great light, and then it just keeps a little bit cooler too.
Perfect. Wonderful. Let's see. What about dimmable lights? Does that help with the heat?
I believe it does. And so that can help. One thing, if we're talking specifically about under cabinetry light still, is got to be a little bit careful, because when you get to dimmable lights for under cabinet, and specifically about LED, it can cause a flicker sometimes. And I think it's just manufacturers are still working out the kinks. And so under cabinet lights almost always have their own little transformer box, and that is usually located in the cabinetry. And so sometimes if you do get a flicker to it, the electrician can come back and do some tweaks and updates if needed.
Perfect.
So I would say, honestly, if getting new under cabinet lights, just talking to your electricians and asking what is the best new product, because it seems like it's something that is continuously being improved upon.
Great. That was a great question, Michael, and thanks for addressing that, Ashley. Let me see if we have any other comments and questions coming through. While I do that, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the island. Michael is back actually with a question about the island, and he had the same thought that I did. Can we get a closer up view of the island, and can we talk a little bit more about the materials that were used?
Sure, yeah. So before I walk over there and get a little bit closer, I'll just look at it. I know it's a silestone. I'm going to look at my notes here to see the color. So the color is Calcutta Gold, and we had a company manufacture them called Leon's Countertops. Great company. They do a wonderful job, and there's slight veining to this countertop, which in different lighting you can see it a little bit better. Maybe as we move around you'll see it differently, and maybe if I go up here you can see that. And then to show you how it works on the side, here's that visual, so you can see the stool area. And then another thing I'll point out is the backsplash. So decided to not go with a tile backsplash, a mosaic, and we did just run that countertop up the wall. And a lot of times it's common that backsplash is 4 inches high if you're doing the same as the countertop. And we actually went higher. So we did it 7 inches. And to me, what that does is it just gives a little bit of a higher end look. One challenge we had in order to achieve that is, again, going back to this construction of the condominium having the metal studs. And just because of the codes that are for condominiums, you had to run a metal conduit in the wall to anywhere there's electrical. So all of the outlets above that 7-inch high quartz backsplash had to be moved up. But I think it was worth it. And I think it gives it a really, really nice look.
Talking about the backsplash, Patrick over on YouTube wanted to know if you could share a little more insight about trends in the backsplashes. Is it more common, to skip the mosaic and the tile and just run the countertop up, or is that something new that's happening these days?
It's not new. It's as far as running the countertop material, whether it be quartz or a marble, running it on the countertop and then up the wall, it is probably done a little bit more often than back in the day. So that is something that just gives like a nice clean look. If someone is looking to stay fairly neutral, doesn't want grout, it's a great option. And then as far as a tile mosaic backsplash, that is still, in my experience, the most common is a tile mosaic backsplash. And so in the older homes, still doing a lot of white subway tile for the backsplash, but then tile that looks handmade is very popular right now too. And that's whether you go with an actual handmade tile. So here in Minneapolis, we have a couple different companies, one of them being Mercury Mosaics, hand make the tile here in Minneapolis. But then we have other companies that we sell tile for that they're manufactured tile, not handmade, but they're made to look handmade. So have more uneven edges and some variation in the color. And so that is something that people are liking a lot currently.
Yes, I feel like I've seen a lot more of the handmade look these days.
Yes.
Gives it a little more personality and authenticity even. Great question, Patrick. I'm not seeing too many more questions coming in right now. Oh, maybe just one more. Can we just touch base real quick on the cost difference between that 4-inch set on the backsplash and tile backsplash? Is tile, is that an extravagant cost that homeowners need to be prepared for?
A tile backsplash is definitely more expensive than, in my experience, definitely more expensive than the quartz backsplash. At the same time, that's a little bit dependent. So every manufacturer of quartz has different price ranges. So a lot of times they'll have 5 tiers of pricing. So let's say you're at a price point where it's tier 5 of quartz, so like the most expensive, and you run that up as the 4-inch backsplash, that could get pretty expensive too. At the same time, if the fabricator of the countertops, if he has a slab size, if he orders a slab that there's plenty left over to make that 4-inch backsplash, it's better, it's more cost effective for him or her to cut that 4-inch backsplash versus have these random leftovers and not be able to sell it as a remnant. But then my estimate, just shooting from the hip, for cost difference between a 4-inch quartz or granite backsplash compared to a tile mosaic, probably going to be a difference between anywhere, I'd say from $700 to $900, with that being tile being more expensive.
Okay, interesting. That is good to know, and something that I'm sure homeowners have to keep in mind as they're making those choices.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions right now. Guys, if you come up with questions for Ashley, go ahead and drop them in our comment section and we'll get those answered offline for you. Lauren, I'm going to bring you on screen now if you're still with us. Hi, Lauren. Ashley, thank you so much for that presentation. That was such a great project. For those that are watching live, it will be up on our website very shortly. You'll see some previews in the social media platforms, and we'll get that up so that you can explore this project on your own time as well. Ashley, we'll let you go, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Lauren. Wow, those projects were amazing.
Wow.
What did you think?
I thought there were some great projects, very impressive. I think that our designers are really talented, about kitchen remodeling and making selections and make the process a lot easier.
They really do. I've found that, whether you're coming into our design selection studios or working over Zoom, they know what they're doing. They're very knowledgeable, and it's not that they read your mind, but they can make whatever you're dreaming of usually come to life. Loren, did you have any closing remarks before we let our audience go?
I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I hope that you find your experiences in contacting Castle and working with us as a good value and as a very professional company. We've got some great designers, wonderful showrooms for making those selections, some guarantees and promises with our thorough planning process around timelines and pricing and lifetime warranty workmanship. And so we really hope you have a chance to make your home your castle.
Yes, and I will say to that, we do have on our website, we have those project costs available. You can check out our designers and our portfolio. You can find our guarantees on there. If you're not sure what our 3-prong guarantee is, head to the website, check it out. Lifetime guarantees, excellent work, completion date promises, and we really stand by that. So again, thank you everyone so much for joining us today. I hope you are leaving impressed. I know I am. I'm going to go dream up of new storage solutions for my own kitchen. Have a great Saturday, everyone, and be safe.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.